It's going to be, yeah, it's the fail by Fox News, and they actually apologize. It's Fox News apologizes for no-go zone remarks. Here we go, guys. Here it is.
Developing tonight, new reports that terrorist sleeper cells may have been activated in France. This is we're learning new details about hundreds of no-go zones across France and other countries that are off limits to non-Muslims. Steve Emerson, founder of the investigative project, joins us. All right, Steve, my last guest told us some chilling details about these no-go zones. What more can you tell us about these zones, Steve?
Well, these no-go zones exist not only in France, but they exist throughout Europe. They're sort of amorphous. They're not contiguous necessarily, but they're sort of safe havens, and they're places where the governments like France, Britain, Sweden, Germany, they don't exercise any sovereignty. So you basically have zones where Sharia courts are set up, where Muslim density is very intense, where the police don't go in, and where it's basically a separate country almost, a country within a country.
You know what it sounds like to me, Steve? It sounds like a caliphate within a particular country.
Well, it certainly does sound like that. You know, it's almost the prescription that they're asking Israel to do, which is to set up a separate state within their own states. Except they're not recognizing it, and they're not dealing with it because they don't want to. I got into a tweet fight with the French ambassador who denied that there are any such things as no-go zones, except on the French, official website it says there are, and it actually has a map of them. So and in Britain, it's not just no-go zones. There are actual cities like Birmingham that are totally Muslim, where non-Muslims just simply don't go in. And parts of London, there are actually Muslim religious police that actually beat and actually wound seriously anyone who doesn't dress according to religious Muslim attire. So there's a situation that Western Europe is not dealing with. And in this country, we have this the selective orientation toward what is radical Islam. The president doesn't say it. We include Turkey as part of our ally, despite the fact that it supports Hamas. It provides safe haven to the leaders of Hamas that coordinate attacks on Israel. It doesn't include Europe just lifted the sanctions on Hamas. So when Europe says, or France says, we're engaged in a war against radical Islam, they don't include Hamas.
Okay,
they don't include Hezbollah.
Steve, and last week on this program, a guest made a serious factual error that we wrongly let stand unchallenged and uncorrected. The guest asserted that the city of Birmingham, England, is totally Muslim and that it is a place where non-Muslims don't go. Both are incorrect. The most recent census data, which is from 2011, indicates 22% of the population of Birmingham identifies themselves as Muslim. Also, we could find no credible source that indicates Birmingham is a so-called no-go zone. We deeply regret these errors and apologize to the people of Birmingham, our viewers, and all who've been offended.
A correction now. Over the course of this last week, we have made some regrettable errors on air regarding the Muslim population in Europe, particularly with regard to England and France. Now, this applies especially to discussions of so-called no-go zones, areas where non-Muslims allegedly aren't allowed in and police supposedly won't go. To be clear, there is no formal designation of these zones in either country and no credible information to support the assertion there are specific areas in these countries that exclude individuals based solely on their religion. There are certainly areas of high crime in Europe, as there are in the United States and other countries, where police and visitors enter with caution. We deeply regret the errors and apologize to any and all who may have taken offense, including the people of France and England.
So there you have it, guys. The no-go zone by Fox News.
I have to immediately point out that you cut off the first lady, the one with the crazy googly eyes that looked like she was like staring off into like space or heaven or some shit.
That was the video I downloaded.
She had that look on her face. I wish you could just show the look on her crazy ass face. And she was a judge.
Oh yeah,
she was a fucking judge. That's right up there with Louis Gohmert on the judge scale of like nutty crazy lady. But,
your girl
but she didn't.
Oh well,
She didn't correct that guy one fucking bit and totally agreed with him and put on this whole like, oh my God. And she's also made done some story where she opened it with, we have to kill them. We have to kill them. Talking about Muslims, like Muslim extremists and shit. She's had to apologize for this because it was so wrong, but she made it out like it was the guest that was wrong. But she was also wrong. You just cut the clip a little bit early. She totally agrees with the fucking guest. She totally spouts the same kind of bullshit. And then when she's making the apology, she leaves herself out of it. And it was the guest that was wrong, and they just didn't do a good enough job correcting him. Get the fuck out of here.
No, you're right. And I apologize for that. I will have the extended clip in the description box when this video does come out. And Paul, before you go real quick, I want to say this real quick, is what's so ridiculous is that this is the lack of journalism, the lack of research that these fucking Fox pundits fucking do. What it boils down to is where there is crime, there will be law enforcement. So for them to even think about where there's going to be crime in these no-go zones that cops are just not going to go is just fucking absolute fucking bullshit. Like, really? Cops are just, oh, fuck them, let the Muslims kill each other? No, that doesn't fucking happen, dude. And there's no evidence of that. So, Paul, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, they said they made one factual error, or they made a couple factual errors. I was like, there's a lot more factual errors than just one or two. And
I saw at least 50 times.
All right, let me give you a statistic.
Total.
Here's a little statistic for you since you just brought that up, Paul. Statistic from last year, 2014, PolitiFact, revealed in 2014 Fox News is only truthful approximately 18% of the time. So that's a great point to bring up, Paul. Go ahead.
Yeah, like that's a big surprise. The Fox News. The news part, I think, is ironic by now.
Yeah.
So was it Fox News or was it Sky News that also announced that there were whole neighborhoods in Switzerland that had now been taken over by Sharia?
And
the news stories.
Well, Sky News came out and said, you might be right on that, Aaron. I don't know about that, but Sky News recently came out and there was a video on it where they refused to post the new Charlie Hebdo image of Muhammad, and the lady, the newscaster, got really pissed off, and they panned up on it, and they said, "Oh no, we can't show that. We don't want to offend anybody." And I think Godless Engineer just made a video on that, and it was a pretty good video. So good, Aaron. Sorry.
Well,
yeah, well, unfortunately, I'm going to be in Europe in a few months, and I actually asked to go to some of these no-go zones, and then Fox had to go and take him away again, just like the Catholic Church with their infallible Pope when he suddenly says, "Oh, you remember that whole purgatory thing?" Yeah, not so much.
Not so much, exactly.
Yeah,
that's a good one. I like that. That's good. Paul, go ahead. I think you want to finish it, and Drew.
No, it's just I was making a joke that she was on loan from HLN and you know, Drunky Grace, and oh no, she must be on loan from HLN because otherwise why would she be on Fox News, right? She doesn't fit the stereotypical reporter. Neither did the one that was issuing the you know, the cover up, like, oh, we apologize for we should have done a little bit better, but the guest was wrong, my bad, or for not you know, checking him a bit more, but it's all his fault. It seems like other people who are trying to pass the buck recently with high profile news clips or news articles where they make pretty outlandish claims and then they get called on not fact checking.
Exactly. And to expand on what you just said, Paul, is his name is Stephen Emerson, the guy that you were talking about, the guy that's all this controversy is about. By the way, do you know his other controversial you know, issue was? Anybody know? Nobody? Nobody knew? Nobody? Okay, well, I'll bring it up to you.
Us much time to answer here.
Of course. Well, come on. No? Anybody? No? Think about it. Okay.
Who are you even talking about?
The guy
that was ranting.
The guy that was ranting and said all these no-go zones, and in Birmingham is full of Muslims. They're all Muslims in Birmingham. No?
Okay. I don't know. Is he the lawyer for the Catholic Church that declared bankruptcy for him?
No. Steve Emerson, his other controversial issue was back on April 17th, 2013. Emerson stated on Fox News program Hannity that he had been informed by an official in the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, that a Saudi national who was present during the Boston Marathon bombing was suspected was suspected of playing a role in the bombing. He was wrong. Emerson wondered why a suspect would be deported and not prosecuted. Of course, this is their whole spiel, Fox News, supporting a person like this. Emerson reasoned that the United States handles Saudi nationals differently to appease Saudi Arabia and not to embarrass the country. So that was his other controversial topic back in 2013. So just wanted to make you guys aware of that. Yeah, so I mean, like this, I guess this is a reason why that Dish Network blacked out Fox News and Fox Business channels after.
And you also have to take into consideration that Fox News says like a fuckload of wrong shit and terribly misinformed shit, and for them to actually have to make an apology means it is like really wrong.
Well, you know what?
Even their viewers know it's wrong because they'll say shit, and if they don't think their viewers will know the difference, they won't apologize for it. But if even their dipshit viewers know, like, okay, this is full of shit, I know better than this, then they have to come out and be like, well, we apologize for our guest.
Well, you know what?
That's what I was going to say.
Good, Drew, I'm sorry.
Imagine how much time they would have to spend to correct all the misinformation that gets spewed on Fox News. And at this point, the only thing...
You need two channels.
Fox and Fox 2. Dude, it's funny because at this point, the only thing that could possibly offend me on Fox News is when they do this and try to pretend like they have some sort of journalistic integrity. I mean, that's like the only thing that comes out of Fox that I find really like, okay, it's just insulting almost.
No, exactly, Drew. And one thing I want to bring up here is, let me back up a little bit here. The reason why Fox made the apology, and this is just a rumor. I didn't do research on this. I didn't have time to do research, but if somebody could do research, please do so. And if I do find the link to it, I'll post it in the description box when this video comes out, is supposedly France was going to sue Fox News just for their fucking insane fucking views. Their discrimination against their country, I think. So... I think so. I'm just putting that out there. I'm not saying it's true, but I heard that. I heard that. So I have a chance to research. Well. I'm not saying it's true, but I'm just putting it out there. But also, I will say for a fact that David Cameron of England, UK, he said Steve Emerson, the guy that made that claim, said he's clearly a complete idiot on this issue. So I want to put that out there. What David Cameron said. So that was pretty funny. So anything else you guys want to say on this?
What you were talking about is the mayor of Paris was insulted over it and said that she was intending to sue.
Okay, thank you very much for that confirmation there, Paul.